What was comedy like back then?
It was a lot freer because nobody was taping you on their cell phones, right? So I'd show up, I'd get on stage at 10 or 11 o'clock. Most of the audience was completely out of their mind on cocaine and alcohol. They were completely wasted. It was a resort town.
Those audiences must have been...
Oh, yeah. I mean, and then you just get on stage. I would do like 6 minutes of just raunchy material and get people worked up into a frenzy and then take my money and spend it at the bar and buy party favors for my friends. And it was like, you didn't really care about, at that time, I didn't care about being famous or what I was going to do for my career. I mean, I was 20 years old. I was glad that I was able to get in with a fake ID and no one put two and two together.
That's I think that's something that comics now don't have to go through, is performing for coked out audiences.
Well, it was Aspen, it was the 80s, you know.
Yeah.
The Pablo Escobar diet, you know.
What was that like? Was that were the audiences aggressive? Was it?
No, I mean, Aspen's a premier resort, right?
Yeah,
so you have people who are there, they're ready to party, and this was like a lot of ski bums because it was the off season. So I had like 15 roommates at the time, and they would come down to the show and support me, and it was great. They were rowdy and they had a great time, and I still have a fan base there to this day.
Do you still go out there to perform?
Last time I performed in Colorado was in Rifle, Colorado, and they had a big oil boom there, and I worked for a bunch of wildcatters, and yeah, they were a wild group.
I know you mentioned because we talked a little bit yesterday on the phone, and you mentioned the how carrying around credits back then, you'd show up with a newspaper or something like that.
Yeah,
that to me, that's like, yeah, that makes sense, but I've never heard of that. And for a lot of the younger comics, maybe if you want to touch on that, because that's, you know, that would be the easiest way to just show up to a club.
Well, yeah, back in the day, if you had like a newspaper article or a magazine article that said you were funny, that's how you would get gigs. So if someone was coming into Aspen, and like Tommy Chung or Gary Shandling or some of the other guys I opened for, you would send their manager a copy of your clip, of your newspaper clipping, and they'd go, okay, well, this guy's a comedian, let's put him on. No, there was no YouTube. You weren't mailing out beta tapes or anything like that.
Because that's now what they want, as in clips. They want to have clip of it.
Well, now I spend all my budget on like my website, dangonzamechanic.com, the YouTube clips, the TikToks, the Instagram, the Facebook, and you know, you have to watch everything you say. Things get taken out of context or whatever. It's a different world.
It's a different world now.
You do an act and Interpol shows up. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck's going on here?
And that's a thing that I know with, you know, with your shows now getting recorded. It's like we're in a different world now where you know, people film you, and then, you know, I know back then you could get away with doing the same bits in the same city for longer than you can now, because that's, you know.
Well, for the contests, I was doing different material because it was the same audience, it was the same nightclub.
You were coming out with new material every show.
Yeah, I still do. I mean, I'm primarily a writer. I love to write. I love coming up with stuff, and I love the ability to put a joke out there and just see if it works, as opposed to running it through the Hollywood grist mill where you have development executives and you have to wait, and people are like, you know, judgmental or whatever. When you're funny, is funny, right?
Right.
You write a joke. If it works, it's great. If it doesn't, you don't use it again.
Did you know that the Voice Party has merch? T-shirts, hoodies, wall clocks, bath mats, even mini skirts. We will throw our logo on absolutely anything. Click the link in the description below and pick up some Voice Party merch today.